Hello guys, I'm talking about Novak Djokovic here and this whole thing about the Australian Open and him entering Australia. So yes, it's true. Australia has now permitted Novak Djokovic, to enter the country and of course play the Australian Open. But there are two things here. So they're not demanding any more vaccine passports upon entry in the country, nor they are making soliciting for tests for coronavirus tests to see if you're positive or negative with that. I think that's the case here. They're not doing this anymore, not mandating vaccines and they're not asking for a negative test upon arrival in the country. So for this criteria, Novak Djokovic is permitted to enter. It's permitted, yeah. That's how we ended up speaking right now about public transportation, public travel and stuff, if you're allowed or not. And there's another thing about his ban, his official ban, because his visa was cancelled, so he had a 3-year ban from entering the country. Only 1 year has passed since that horrific, abusive dictatorship-like treatment that he supported, he suffered from the Australian government. And right now, 1 year later, a few months ago, they cancelled this ban. The government cancelled this ban, and Novak Djokovic will be able to come and enter Australia. And he is now in Australia. He's playing, and yep, he's now there. Honestly, I don't know what to think about this, because his matches was so powerful, and yeah, it just seems like obviously he's just trying to win his 10th Australian Open, and he couldn't just say this was too much. Australia, I'm sorry, fuck you, I'm not coming there anymore. Your treatment and that whole insanity surrounding the vaccine and the virus, supposedly surrounding those problems, but it was not about the vaccine or the coronavirus. Obviously, since the motivation of his last rejection by the officials of the government and the justice department over there, that said that he will be expelled from the country because of the anti-vaccine sentiment that he might produce in the population of Australians. This was the horrific motivation of their banning him from the country. After he was detained in a motel, in a detention facility, just like criminals, prisoners, shitty food, no open windows, absolutely horrendous and mind-boggling how. And they put him there, and they released him for a couple of days because of an initial justice resolution, partial, and they let him train on the courts just a few days before the Australian Open was supposed to start, and then put him back in that detention hotel. If you can imagine something more absolutely insane and horrible like that. Anyway, this is why I'm not feeling so confident about this, so comfortable about all this thing about him coming back and accepting all that Australia has to offer. Of course, he always had a good time there. He was just a pro tennis player, guys. Come on, he was just playing tournaments, training, and visiting some nice places over there and eating some dinners at the restaurants. So this is his understanding of Australia as being so nice, so kind. Of course, a lot of tennis fans were just liking him, but now just him going there and participating, and all of those idiots in Australia and their sport news and stuff just saying it like nothing ever happened. Just Djokovic is back. He says he will put all that behind him. It was just those events that just were just and him, Djokovic, saying too diplomatic, way too diplomatic things about this whole horrendous situation that he was put in. It's clearly he just wants to not stir the waters anymore, he has let that past him, and he just wants to focus on another Australian Open Grand Slam win. But still, I think this it's a little bit in a contradiction with what he stood for back then, with his decision not to be vaccinated and publicly saying so, and saying, no, I want to be here, I want to play. And now just being there, of course, they're all welcoming here. Probably just some people in the society there in Australia might still have an unusual, stupid, bad feeling about him and his how could he have ever tried to enter our country not being vaccinated, when we were all being told that we were mandated to be vaccinated and all that stuff. Anyway, this is the info, guys. Djokovic is there in Adelaide, he's playing. He said these things about not, you can't forget those events. It's one of those things that sticks with you. It stays with you for, I guess, for the rest of your life. It was something that I've never experienced before, and hopefully never again. So this is too simple stuff, to way too light stuff that he's saying. He's practically saying nothing. Saying nothing about that. Those idiots are still asking him about it, but it's all shit. It's all shit. He says, I was really hoping that I'm going to have my permission back to get back into Australia and play here, because it's a country where I've had tremendous success in my career. I always felt great in Australia. I always played my best tennis, received a lot of support. Hopefully I can have another great summer. Of course, he's saying that, as I told you, he's just a top tennis player, and he stayed there just as kind of like a superstar, just playing, training, and visiting a few locations to have fun, to feel good. And of course, that's why his impression about Australia's community and society is just that everything's okay, everything's perfect, everybody likes him, and you saw what happened. Because, not to talk about that right now, but Australian government is it's horrendous. It's horrendous to talk about that. A lot of things about their society is fucked up. But anyway, this was the short news about Novak Djokovic. Okay, cheers, guys.